Hey guys, and welcome to a new reading vlog. This is my July reading vlog. Today's the 1st of July and I decided to participate in the Medievalathon. And right now I'm trying to figure out which audiobook to get for the month because I have two things that would be quite fitting. One is The Queen of the Tearling, which would be for the Crown Challenge to read a book where a character fights for the throne. And the other one would be Tooth and Claw, which is for the helmet. And that is the challenge to read a book with a dragon on the cover, which I do not own a book with a freaking dragon on the cover. But right now, I think I might go for The Queen of the Tearling. That one is more than 14 hours long, which I'm not very good at listening to audiobooks right now. So we'll see whether I can do that. I can at least try, because I don't have a book where characters are fighting for a throne either. And then I also want to start a new physical book. For now, I thought I'd start with the boots because, we all need something to wear, especially in medieval times, because the ground was quite filthy. So I decided to start with a book with yellowed pages, and it's a book by Minette Walters. This is a German copy, and the English title is The Skulls Bridle. So yeah, I think I'll start with this one. Hey there guys, so the first week of July is over and I've read 60 pages in this book so far. Which is not a lot. I really want to start reading this book for real this week so I can get some reading done. I wanted to read 6 books this month, so I really have to get going. I also listened to about 2 hours of my audiobook, which is The Queen of the Tearling, and that one I love a lot. I really enjoyed this audiobook so much, and it's such a refreshing audiobook after When Dumplin Met Richie, which I really hated last month. So yeah. I really want to make some progress now, so I hope that today I can read about 100 pages in this, and I'll talk to you soon, because so far nothing really has happened. So I think today is the 11th or 12th of July. I'm halfway through this book now, and it's just a sad excuse for a thriller. I don't really think that anything is happening, and I don't really know why I continue reading it. But I'm just not one to DNF books, so here we go, still sticking with it. Also, I'm about 4 hours into my audiobook, The Queen of the Tearling, and I'm very much enjoying that one. They just arrived at the Keep, and yeah, I love that audiobook. I'm so excited to keep listening to it. Okay, so I seriously didn't need a reading rush TBR, because I'm honestly just failing Medievalathon, and I don't have good books that combine, the challenges. But I just made one, so I'm going to show you quickly, but it's just at a glance because, that's just books that I've lying around, and honestly, only 2 of these books are on my immediate reading list because they're from the library, but let's just have a look. So this is my little pile. I have the Lord of the Rings sketchbook because this has more than 5 words. I have Dumplin, which is a book-to-movie adaptation. Alternatively, I have Romeo and Juliet because I haven't seen the movie in a while and I could reread that. It's much shorter, to be honest. Then I have one of the Rita Mae Brown books where the main character is a cat. I have Plantation Memories, which is a book I wanted to read last year and I still have not gotten around to it. I have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is the first book of this author, and this is also from the library. I have a Goosebumps novel, which has purple on the cover, and I have another Goosebumps novel that I can read in one spot. So yeah, as I said, I don't really need this TBR, but well, it happened now, so we'll see how it goes. It's still 1 week before the Readathon starts, and the week in between I'm traveling, so I don't really know how this will go, because I probably won't read while I'm traveling. I haven't really thought this through. So I finally read a good chunk of this book today. I have some 70-odd pages left, but we're definitely nearing the end, and somehow my TBR was kind of encouraging to pick this book up and finally finish it. I'll probably finish it in the morning because I want to do the dishes now and then go to bed. I will read some more, but as I said, it's like 70 pages, and I'm not quite sure whether I will finish this today. I don't want to push it too much, but yeah. So far, this book is quite underwhelming. It's all like... It definitely reads like a Game of Thrones thriller, so there's, incest, intrigue, betrayal, having sex with people you shouldn't have sex with, a lot of sex, a lot of abortion stuff I don't like. So yeah, very negative attitudes towards abortion that I don't really appreciate. Yeah, it's just a mess. It's basically a mess. I'll see how good the ending gets. Right now it's like a 3-star read, probably. I mean, it is interesting, you know, it's definitely gripping now, but the stuff that's happening is just really unbelievable and crazy shit. So yeah, I'll talk to you about this more soon. So, update, I finished this book last night, which made me very happy. I decided to give it 3 stars. It wasn't the best, crime novel I've ever read. It's a lot about family drama and very, very big drama, believe me. But yeah, I felt like the solution was a little bit meh. I did like the reference to King Lear by Shakespeare, because I've recently read that retelling, what's its name? The Queens of Innis Lear. So, is that how it's called? Whatever. But yeah, so I liked that part of it. But yeah, it was just fine. Also, this book is almost as old as me. This was first published in 1994, so I guess it didn't age that well. There were just a couple of things into it that I wasn't a huge fan of, but overall, I think Minette Walters tried to do good things. But looking at it from a perspective of 2019, it just didn't work out that well. So yeah. I finally have my boots, because this was my book for Yellowed Pages, and now I have to decide what I read next. But before I do that, I actually have to film a video. I'm super lazy, because for that video I would like to put on some makeup, and I'm like, that's such an effort. And also tomorrow I'm going to Croatia. I'll probably do a separate vlog, which will already up when you watch this, so I hope you go check that out if you haven't already. And yeah, super exciting stuff happening. I still have to do a couple of things, but you know, it's a fun weekend. So, looking through my bookshelves yesterday for my Booktubeathon TBR that I didn't need, I found this book, which has a dragon on it, which I had no idea had a dragon on it. So I just started this. I just finished the introduction, which is about 30 pages, and I think I might be able to read a little bit more today. But yeah, this is a book by J.R.R. Tolkien. Farmer Giles of Ham is how I would say it, and I'm really excited because I love Tolkien, obviously. He's my favorite author of all time, and I love reading those little books that do not have anything to do with Middle-earth, but still show that he was absolutely genius. So yeah, I'm excited to continue with it, and I just wanted to give you a quick update. So I'm back from my trip to Zagreb. I did a complete vlog of that, which will already be up when you see this. I just wanted to quickly catch up. So I've read 212 pages in It by Stephen King, which is not a lot because this book is massive and I don't know why I did this to myself. But I love it. It's such a nostalgic read for me, and it fits the time perfectly because this takes place in the summer, you know, with the kids having no school and defeating evil. So yeah, I love this book so much, and I will continue reading it. Also, I listened to some more of my audiobooks, and I have 6 hours left of The Queen of the Tearling. I still love this audiobook a whole lot. I think it's so much fun. The narrator is fantastic, and I will keep listening to it in a second when I do some chores around the house. So today is Sunday, the 21st. Tomorrow starts the Booktubeathon, and even though I know it's not a good idea, I decided to participate. The problem is I don't really have books that cross over well, so that I could use for Booktubeathon and then also for Medievalathon, so I'll probably fail one at least, so we'll see. But I'm just excited and I want to do it, and I do have some work as well next week, so we'll see. But what I wanted to mention quickly now is that I will do separate Booktubeathon vlogs that will not be included in this video, so if you're interested in that, you can also go and check those out. But as I said, for now I just have to do some cleaning and then edit my Zagreb vlog, and yeah, life's busy. Hey there guys, so it's the day after the Booktubeathon, so I have 1 week that I left out of this vlog because I did separate reading rush vlogs, sorry. I still call it Booktubeathon, whatever. and I'm not gonna mention all the books I've read for that, but I wanted to mention what that means for my Medievalathon. Now, first of all, I have finished more than 7 books this month now, which technically makes me a queen, if I remember correctly. I think you had to read 6 or 7 books to achieve that. And I want to mention the books that count towards a challenge as well that I finished. So during the reading rush, I finished my audiobook, which was The Queen of the Tyrling, which I read for a book where a character fights for the throne, because this is about Kelsey, a young queen who has just come of age, and she has lived in exile her whole life, and then she's going back to claim her throne, basically, and has to hold it against different enemies. So I have my crown. Then I read a book with a red cover. It's not a dust jacket, but it's a red cover, which is the Underground Railroad, which I really loved. And this counts for the cloak. This is about the infamous Underground Railroad, which was a way to smuggle slaves from the south to the northern states in America. And this is kind of a fictionalized version of that. And then I'm gonna count the Lord of the Rings sketchbook for a book with elves, because this is a book full of sketches, and we do have some elves in here as well. This Galadriel. So I will count this one, which means that my weapon of choice is bow and arrow. So now the things I still haven't done is read a book with a dragon on the cover, for which I chose this one, and I will definitely finish this before the month is over. Read a shiny book, which is probably not something I can achieve, and read a thick paperback. I do have 1,000 pages of It by Stephen King left, and I will not be able to do that, to be honest. So yeah, I might achieve one more goal, but probably not more. Still, I'm very happy with my result in my reading month, and I will catch up with you later.
I'd like to edit my video now, but I can't get her off the chair, can I though?
So yesterday I finished the published version of Farmer Giles of Ham, and I do have the first manuscript version left and then some notes at the end of this book, so I'm still not quite finished with that, but I will be before the month is over. And also I listened to a ton of my audiobook, The Invasion of the Tyrling, and I'm enjoying that one so much. It's really a lot of fun. What's my hair doing there? Yeah, it's so much fun. I really love this series, so I think I'm about 2 hours into it right now, and I'll keep you updated. So, I'm technically done with this book. I only have the notes left, and that's not really reading. And today I got a book in the mail, because I ordered the next part of this very long series about a cat solving murders. So, successful last day of this month. Hey there guys, so I finally finished the notes of this book as well, so I've read it completely now and I can count it for a book with a dragon on the cover. I will do a separate wrap-up video, or no, not a separate wrap-up. I will do a wrap-up at the end of this video as well, so stay tuned for that. But this is the end of the vlog part, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you watched the Booktubeathon vlogs, and stay tuned for the wrap-up. So, I want to do a quick wrap-up of this month now and go with you through all the books that I've read. So, the first book I finished this month was The Skulls Bridle by Minette Walters, which is a crime novel that revolves around a girl called Sarah, and she's a doctor, and one of her patients dies and leaves her a large sum of money. But it's not really sure why she did that, because she was only her doctor, and so drama ensues. We have a lot of family drama in this, a lot of nasty stuff like rape and all kinds of things. This is basically like if Game of Thrones was a crime novel. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of this, but it was still interesting, and I'm glad that I finally read this. Also, this is one of the books I read for the Medievalathon because it had yellow pages, and that was the challenge for your boots. And I gave this book 3 stars in the end. Next up, I read a ton of books during Booktubeathon, so let's go through these quickly. I'm not gonna talk about those a lot. I have not done a separate wrap-up, so I will talk about them a little bit, so if you're interested, let's go. The first book I finished for Booktubeathon was The Night of the Living Dummy by R.L. Stine, which is a book about 2 girls who are twins, and they find a puppet in the trash can and they bring it home, and it seems to not be very normal indeed. And this is one of my least favorite Goosebumps books, and I think I gave it 3 stars as well. Next, I finished One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Casey, and this is a classic, or a modern classic, I guess. This follows a couple of men in an asylum and how they are treated there. It's basically about this, what's she called, big nurse or something like that, Nurse Ratched, and how one new patient there tries to pick a fight with her, and what happens, you know, with all the patients that are there. So yeah, this was very interesting. I gave this 4 stars in the end. This is definitely something that I enjoy reading once in a while. And yeah, it was just a very weird book that I'm glad I have read it, but I guess I will also never reread it. So mixed feelings somehow, I don't know. Next up, I read Murder She Meowed by Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown. This is, I think, the 5th book in this series, and this follows a cat and a dog who solve a murder. And yeah, this is all about a series of murders that occurs with jockeys and horses, and they have to solve it and find out who the murderer was. Now, this book was a little bit weaker than the other ones in this series so far. I very much enjoyed the first couple of books in this series because they are very interesting to see the dynamics of an American small town, or yeah, small town. But in this one I missed that. I felt like the banter between the animals was very boring compared to the other ones. It didn't have very much social commentary, which I found lacking. Yeah, I don't know. I gave this 2.5 stars. It was okay, but it was a disappointment in the series. Then I finished Welcome to Camp Nightmare, which is also a Goosebumps book. And this is my favorite book that I remember from my childhood. So I gave this 4.5 stars. Enjoyed this very much. I really like the last sentence. I think this one is just so good, such a good idea, and I love how it is executed as well. This is about a boy called Billy who is going to summer camp for the very first time, but when he gets there, things are very, very strange and people start disappearing. So, love this one. Next up, I read The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, and this is a book I had on my radar for a very long time, and I'm very glad that I finally got around to reading this because I gave it 5 stars. I think this is such a phenomenal book and everybody should read it. This follows a girl called Cora, and she's a slave, and she tries to escape to the northern states of America through the Underground Railroad. But in this book, this is not a metaphor, but it is actually true. There's actually a railroad going underneath America. And yeah, this was just very hard-hitting, so many dark topics, and I don't know, it was just really good, but you have to be in the mood for a book like this because yeah, it can make you feel very bad indeed. Yeah, I love this and I would highly recommend it. Also, this fits for the challenge to read a book with a red cover for the Medievalathon, which will give me my cloak, I think. Then the next book I finished was the Queen of the Tearling, which was my audiobook I've been listening to throughout the whole month. And this by Erika Johansson, and I very much enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars as well. I really like the main character, Kelsey. I think she's amazing. I loved following her. And this is all about her becoming a queen. I mean, she was a queen, obviously, the whole time, but she's now coming of age, and so she can claim her throne. And yeah, I just loved this first book. I immediately got the audiobook for the second version. I'm very sad that the second book is not narrated by the same narrator as the first one, because the first one was amazing. And yeah, I don't know why they did that. The first narrator's book is amazing. It's my absolute favorite narrator style, kind of. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it. So finished that, and I read that for the Medievalathon for the challenge to read a book about people fighting for the throne, because she has to defend her throne against her uncle and also the Red Queen. And that will give me my crown, which, you know, I had to have my crown. I had to have it. Then as well for the Booktubeathon, I finished Dumplin by Julie Murphy, and this book was so good, so good. I gave it 5 stars as well. This follows Willow Dean, who is a little bit on the chubby side, and she decides to join in the pageant, I think it's called. I never know the English title. This is German copy, by the way. I love this book so much. It's just the kind of YA book that I love. I think Julie Murphy is an amazing author. And yeah, this was great. And I want to read Pudding now so badly. So yeah, I'm glad I finally got around to reading this. And I would highly recommend it to everyone. I also watched the Netflix movie for this and really liked that one as well. But I think the book is much better. One book I almost forgot to mention is The Lord of the Rings Sketchbook by Alan Lee. This is a book all about the sketches and drawings that Alan Lee did during the making of the Lord of the Rings movies. It's gorgeous. He has a little commentary on every page. And I very much enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. I think the commentary isn't the greatest. Well, you don't really need that. It's just little anecdotes and stuff like that. But the pictures are absolutely stunning. I think he's such a great artist, and especially his drawings of places and buildings, amazing. Like, I think it's just such a good thing to have if you're a really Lord of the Rings fan, and I am. So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I gave this 4 stars, as I just said, I think. And I also used this one as a book with elves in it. So this will give me my bow and arrow, so I have some weapons to defend myself for the Medievalathon. And then last but not least, I finished Farmagirls of Ham by J.R.R. Tolkien, which has a dragon on the cover, which is the one you need for the helmet in the Medievalathon. So yeah. My head is safe now. I really like this book. It's very cute. I gave this 3.5 stars. I think it's just an adorable little story about this poor farmer who never wanted to be disturbed by anyone, but then he becomes the hero of his village and he's sent out to defend the village against a dragon. And this is just such a typical Tolkien story, just super cute, adorable, with lovable characters that are just simple people, and it's so much fun. And I love these little books. I think they're gorgeous inside and out. You have little illustrations in there as well, and a lot of notes and commentary and stuff like that. So this was great. And yeah, that was all that I've read for the Medievalathon as well as the Booktubeathon, which means that I did not read a shiny book for my armor, and also I did not read a thick paperback. I started a thick paperback, which is It by Stephen King, but I still have 1,000 pages of that left to read, so doesn't count, unfortunately. So I'm also not wearing leggings, but you know, who cares? I can cover up in my cloak and wear my crown, and that's all I wanted. I think you had to read 6 or 7 books to become a queen or king, so I guess I'm a queen. I mean, I have a crown and a red cloak, so I better be a queen. So I had so much fun. I really hope that they do Medievalathon again, maybe next year or something like that, and include, you know, more clothing choices, because as a queen or a princess, I'm not quite sure why I would wear all this armor. So maybe I could have a nice dress or something as well. That would be great. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. I hope it isn't too long. Check out my Booktubeathon vlogs if you can't get enough of my reading. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!